Hey guys, it's Maymay, and if you were with us on Thursday night, you would have seen me decorate a folio that I made that I thought was so cute. It's really more of a brag book, and I promised you I would bring you the assembly video today. So that's what you're going to get. We're going to assemble that little folio. Now, if you haven't seen it, no big deal. You'll see what I'm making by the end of this. We're going to use 2 pieces of 12 by 12 cardstock. That's it to do this guy. And we're actually going to kind of make 1.5. You'll see what I mean. So I want you to grab out your trimmer, and the first thing you're going to do is you want to cut one of your pieces of 12 by 12 down to 6. This is where you're kind of going to make 1.5. And what I mean is this is going to be the body of our little brag book, but this one you can use for a second body of a brag book. Okay, you might find a way you want to use it in this one, but I'm going to use it because it's the right size for a second, and I'll show you what we'll do with our other piece of 12 by 12 so that it all makes sense. So with our second piece of 12 by 12, what I want you to do is I want you to cut it at, I'm going to say 3 7/8, but I really want you to go a little bigger than that. Okay, don't cut it at 4. That's what we're trying to do. We're going to stay underneath 4. So what I'm going to do is with my Cricut trimmer, I'm just going to go to the edge of the platform, and that puts me about a 1/16 of an inch away from 4. The reason for this is where we need this to live is between 2 score lines, and I need it to not be 4 inches. I need it to be slightly under. So that's what I'm doing. I'm cutting each one of these pieces slightly under 4. So I'm just putting it here to my Cricut. Ooh, that was almost exact. I just took a little sliver off of this guy. All right, now these 2 pieces I do not want to cut. I'm going to put these aside, okay? But this third one, we need to do some cuts. And you need to do what I'm going to show you to make it work, okay? So I want you to place this almost 4 by 12 inch piece into your trimmer, and I want you to cut it at 6 inches. And you can be exact here. You don't have to be almost. So I've cut it at 6, okay? Then this 6-inch piece we have left over, I want to turn it on its side. I want to cut it at 1. Okay, so I've got it cut at 1. And then we're going to turn this and cut it to 4. Almost 4, just like we did earlier. Okay, now this little piece is a scrap I'm not going to use for the assembly of the project, but it can go into my scrap bin and I can use it later. So this piece we have that we cut at 4 inches, I want to turn it on its side so it's 4 inches tall, and I'm cutting 1 inch and another 1 inch. You'll have this little piece left over, and you can use this on your other folio. Remember how I said you had the cover or the body of the other one left? This will also work on that one as well. These are the pieces we need for the one we're making. We need the 6 by 1, 2 4 by 1s, and a 6 by 4. Okay. All right. Well, let me show you how to assemble. Let's get our scoreboard out. So these little pieces that you cut are binding strips. All right. So we need to score them in half at 1/2 inch. All 3 of them, 1/2 inch. Then our 2 pieces that are 12 inches by almost 4, we're going to score those in half at 6. So just 6 inches there, and let's fold and crease while we're here. Then our 6 by 12 piece, here's where you're going to score it. You're going to put it in your scoreboard on the 12-inch side. We're going to score at 2, at 3, at 7, and at 8. Now I'm going to flip this over and do the other side as well. I think I get a better fold when I do this. So same marks, 2, 3, 7, and 8. And now we can get started building this guy. It's quick. It goes together super fast, but I think it is so cute. All right, we're going to fold and crease on all of our lines. Now I'm going to build this in this orientation. You don't have to. You can do this way. It'll work just fine, but I'm turning it this way. And what I'll have is I'll have a 1-inch spine. I'll have a 2-inch closure at the top. See where that is there? And it'll look like this on the side. Okay, but we need to add some things here. So this is the top or my closure. So I'm just going to slide it up because I want to work on the bottom down here. You know, that single piece we cut, I want to extend this guy out 1 piece. You could extend it more if you wanted to, but I'm going to do just 1. And that's what we needed, this 6-inch by 1-inch piece that we scored in half. We're going to fold and crease it. And something else I like to do whenever I'm making binding strips is I want to take a little bulk off the edges. So I'm just going to cut a little angle on either edge, and I'm cutting to where the fold is the longest part, and we've cut into the open edge. You see that angle? And then this is going to get glued right down here to the bottom. So I can turn this around. I can add some glue. Then I can place this here. I'm going to line up my longest edges, you know, where I have the points. You can just kind of center them and go ahead and check and make sure you're not hanging off the edge too much. So I just run my my bone folder down like this so it kind of lines it up. Get it nice and lined up and then press. I've told y'all before that I think art glitter glue really likes pressure. So if you're using the same glue as me, press it down. And then we're going to take that single piece we cut and we're going to attach it to the end. And what I find is if I just lay this here where it goes, like that, I can then lift this back, add glue, and then lay it back down, and everything will line up nice and neat. So I'm going to add glue to that flap, line up my cardstock, lay this down, and press it into place. And then I'm just going to bring this up and crease. Now, one thing I do want to double check, and we should be fine because the way we did our almost 4 inches cuts, I want to make sure that my score will fold, and you can see there that there's no resistance. It's doing just fine. So that's one thing we wanted to check. If for some reason when you went to lift this up and your score wouldn't fold over your piece, just trim a hair off of that to make that happen. All right, so we've extended this guy out. So now here's what we're going to do. These 2 pieces we made that were like little booklets, we're going to attach them to the sides of our piece. Remember, this is our top flap. This is our top spine. So I'm going to be working in this section and this section now. Okay, so let's go ahead and fold our little binding strips. You can do so much, you guys. If you wanted to, you could add one of these strips we're doing here and here, even to your bottom strip. I decided not to because of bulk and the way it was going to fold, but you can add one if you want. And you could use that extra piece that I'm saving as another folio to make that happen. All right, I'm going to fold this one and crease it. And you saw that I was just taking the bulk off of those edges. You guys have seen me do that so many times. You saw me do it just a second ago. So do those little angle cuts. There's no specific angle, just so long as you have some of that bulk out. And now I decided that I want to glue my top one to this side and my bottom folded pages to this side. Okay, so that means I'm going to apply my binder strip to the right hand side of the top section. And we're just going to do exactly what we did at the bottom, but on the side. So I'm going to lay this here and I'm going to close it down and use my bone folder to run it down the side and make sure that everything's lining up. And then I can press it down into place. And any glue that hangs out, I can just clean that up. Now, I want to really quick check my folds. Will that clear? It does. And I want to check this one. And it clears as well. If it doesn't, you're going to need to do a little snip before that dries. All right. Okay, now for these pages, the way they're going to work is they're going to glue flat down like this. So when you open your little brag book, it's going to open like this, close back up, and then open like this. Or you can have it open where it hangs like this. So what I want to do is with my piece folded this way, I want to glue this loose edge to this flap. Okay, so a little glue back here. Then I'm just going to line this up, and this won't be hard. Just line that up to the edge. Again, use your bone folder, run it down the side, make sure everything's lining up, and check your fold. Go ahead before it dries and get everything where your folds are working. Very good. This is why we're cutting almost 4 inches, not 4 inches, because we need it to sink in just a little bit. All right, so we have this one installed. We put it in here. Now let's do the one for here. Same thing. I'm going to glue this little piece to this side. Now this bottom one, you'll see that I did it so that it opens and goes the opposite way of the one I did at the top. So see our little arms go out like that. And the other thing you want to make sure of at the bottom is that the piece that you made here, that little bottom flap, will close. Now I put it to the inside. Again, it's because of bulk. Okay. When you add photos to this is going to get a little bulky. When you add them here, it's going to get bulky. And if you try to put all of this inside, you're going to get a little resistance here. So what I prefer to do is have this bottom piece close up this way and then have this go over it. And then the whole piece will close like this. So see that? So I'm going to add a magnet and that'll be how we close it. So just using some basic gray magnets, and I'm going to peel the back off of one. You could use the bigger magnet here if you wanted. I don't think I need it. I think this will be fine. So just going to open my little flap, and I like to kind of put my magnet about a finger width away from the edge. And if you've ever watched me do this before, the reason for that is because I like to be able to press my cardstock down on either side so I get good adhesion there. All right, we're going to peel this off. Now, as always, like I always tell you, don't just close this over. What you need to do, and I'll stand it up so you'll see, you need to stand this up and square everything up before you press that magnet in place, because once that magnet is there, that's where it's going to stay. So you can see that it's nice and square. And then I can open this up and I'll give this one more press and one more press. And now here's our little album. It's going to go like this and like this. And we have little flappies. I just love these kind of albums. These are so cute for gifts, so quick. They can be done in any theme. And I want to turn this into a purse. Not this one in particular, but I can see this being a little top handled purse. Won't that be cute? I think that would make a really, really cute folio. All right, guys, thank you for being patient. If you saw Thursday night and you were wanting to see how this went, this is how it goes together. And if you didn't see Thursday night, go back and watch it, because I used the cutest paper to decorate it, and it's going to be so much fun. Hey, you guys, as always, if you're making these, I want to see your interpretation. So head to our Facebook group called Maymay Made It, and so did I, and share what you're making there. Or you can share in our customer gallery. You can show us over on MaymayMadeIt.com what you're making. We love to see it because I love the inspiration that you guys always give us. All right, guys, thanks for being here today. And until next time, bye now.